In today's digital world, scrolling through social media has become just second nature, but not everything that you see is as real as it seems. And from fake followers to phony influencers, bots are literally everywhere, and they're getting smarter by the day. AI consultant Larry Roberts is here with how to spot a bot before it fools you. Good morning, Larry.
Good morning, Erin. Thanks for having me back.
Oh, so glad to have you back because if I'm honest, this conversation is a terrifying one. I was literally on social media over the weekend and I saw just a video and I was like, oh my gosh, this is real. This is like legit. And then at the end, they were like, this is AI. And I was like, I've been duped. And so, you know, I think a lot of the times when we talk about this, we think of like the mature category of people. But at the end of the day, we are all getting gypped. And so let's talk about some red flags that we can notice to make sure that we're not getting fooled. And the first one is responses feel a little too fast or maybe they are a little too perfect. Tell me more about that.
Yeah, I mean, that's the whole point there. If you get a response back from a message that's like instant with no grammatical issues or no spelling issues, there's a good chance that that's some sort of automation on the background.
Okay, interesting. So making sure that we're aware, you know, and so if we're sending a message, making sure that it doesn't come back straight away. And then also vice versa. If they message you first, make sure that when you respond, you're not giving away too much information. I'm sure we're going to get to that.
100%.
Also, if they repeat the same phrases.
Well, the thing is that most of these bots, they've got scripts on the back end. So it's not uncommon if you ask them a question or you make a statement that they don't understand, they'll just continue to repeat those same phrases, hoping to get a different response from you.
Gotcha. Okay, so again, being on our feet and recognizing, okay, this sounds weird, this is odd. Maybe I should look into who the real company is if they're impostering someone. Now, let's talk about overly formal or maybe even a robotic tone that we're sensing or hearing.
Well, yeah, I mean, that's going to happen because these are bots. You know, you and I as individuals, if we're having conversations, they tend to be a little bit more casual. But with the scripts that are on the back end of most of these bots, it's very, very formal and they cut right to the chase.
And they do cut right to the chase, almost invasive to the point where they're trying to get your personal information.
Well, yeah, I mean, that's the whole goal the vast majority of the time of these bots that are out there is to get your personal information. And a lot of times, I mean, these are scams that are disguised as a customer service bot or a conversational bot. And you have to be very, very cognizant of that.
It's funny that I want to go back to you being conversational with the bot because of the simple fact that I don't think they ever break character, right? They never deviate from the conversation. I think that's also a big red flag.
No, it's a huge red flag. Now, we're starting to see some changes, you know, with some of the conversations that are really AI driven. They are starting to sound more personal, but the vast majority of the time, these bots, they have specific workflows that they need to follow. So they sound very scripted and very robotic in all of their responses.
So do you think maybe it would be a good idea to then ask follow-up questions to maybe trap them or trick them in any way possible?
Definitely ask follow-up questions because most of the time they won't have a response to an additional question.
Okay.
So, you know, most of these bots, they treat each conversation as an individual thread. So that tends to break up the flow of the conversation and they'll just start over.
Oh, wow. Interesting. Okay, so you're basically hitting the factory reset button
just about,
when you ask too many questions.
If you ask me kind of follow-up question, yes. It's like, I don't know what to do.
Love that. Okay, now what about strange links? Because I feel like a lot of the time when you're being catfished or fished in general, there's usually a link that they want you to click on.
Most definitely. Whether it's a text message, whether it's an email, or whether it's a DM on one of the social media platforms, if there is a link that's coming from someone that you don't know or something that you don't know, do not click on that link.
Let me ask you this, because I think a lot of the times people, or at least I've heard this, that when you get like a text message version, they say don't even open the text message. Do you think we should just delete it straight away? Does that actually have any effect?
Well, it definitely has an effect because you don't engage, right? So when I get those messages, and we get a bunch of them, we even talked about it the last time I was here, man, delete that number, block that number, report it as spam, and do not engage.
You know what, that's a very good idea because as soon as you let them know that the phone is working and active, that's when they start calling for real. And now you're on the list. So what should you do when you're in that situation and you have spotted the bot?
Well, again, you should delete whatever that message is or wherever it is. And honestly, report it as spam. If you're on a social media platform, report it as spam, report it as a bot, and bring it to someone else's attention so that you can protect others from falling into a potential trap as well.
That's smart. Very, very good. Because I think, like you said, a lot of the times we just block it and erase it. But you know what? We've got to put a stop to this,
you got to report it. You got to report it.
I'm tired of them asking about my warranty, Larry. I mean, my gosh. These are really good tips. Tell me, where can people find you?
LarryRoberts.com.